What's up, guys? So today I have a question from Nothing Here, and he or she says, could you talk about how you'd receive goods from your suppliers? That sounds like the riskiest part of all, since I guess you have to maintain an address and actually go in to pick up your packages. If you're talking about picking up like legal packages, like things like growing supplies, things along those ends, like there really wasn't an issue, because at the end of the day, obviously I know some people locally, and because those items are legal, I can ship them to them, so I know I would order Grow, Micro, and Bloom sometimes if I didn't, because making organic compost for a hydroponic system can be a wicked pain in the ass, and it's disgusting and it smells. So I remember one time 6 gallons of Grow, 6 gallons of Micro, 6 gallons of Bloom, which is like a hydroponic solution that self-balances the pH, and I used it to grow for a while. Considering 6 gallons each, it was super expensive but heavy as hell, because these are 6 gallon, basically these big 6 gallon jugs that it comes in. But I just ordered them on Amazon, and well, all right, let me be clear. I didn't order them. A friend ordered them and had them shipped to his or her house, right? And then dropped them off to me, and I gave them weed for it, and they were more than happy with that deal, because at the end of the day, for every $100 they spent, I gave them $200 in weed, which to me was about $60. So it was a come up for me, I made money on that, purchasing even supplies. Now, if you're talking about how did I drugs, as far as goods go, as long as your OPSEC is on point, if you know what you're doing and you know that your suppliers know what they're doing, you really don't have an issue, because if something happens and, say your package gets opened by customs because it's international, right? You're going to get a love letter, or you're going to get a controlled delivery, right? But if you know to always be on point looking for those things, they're never going to catch you up with those things, right? If you understand how those things work and the countermeasures for them, you don't have to worry about it. So the fact that you asked the question, which it's a great question, it just means that, at the end of the day, you don't know enough about controlled deliveries and love letters to know how to mitigate that risk, because there is an inherent risk to it, but there's also risk mitigation, right? You control the amount of risk based on your decisions and your actions, and that reflects back on you. So it's at the end of the day, if I go and I request a package to be mailed to an abandoned house, that's it's a horrible thing to do, because at the end of the day, the United States Post Office delivers mail every day. Do you really think they don't know who lives there? Do you really think they don't know that no one lives there? Those kind of things raise red flags, right? And if you go for something called informed delivery on the USPS website, you'll basically see pictures of your mail before you get it. They take pictures of all the packages that come through, right? So no matter what you do, those packages are going to be photographed anyways. But you have to keep in mind, the number of packages is just that go out every day is ridiculous. So honestly, I would say that for me, when I was ordering international, and there were a ton of times when I would have it shipped to my house, directly to my house. And that was because at the end of the day, I knew the vendor. I knew he was a professional, and I knew that if it did get caught through customs, at the end of the day, I'm going to get a love letter, and I'm just going to clean house. I'm going to go through, I'm going to take everything illegal, I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to give it to someone else, and I'm going to wait. Right? I would still do my business. I would just do it a lot more with a little bit more compartmentalization implemented, you know? So let's see. And, you know, I would not like, I would not go pick up any packages. Like if I can't get a package sent directly to me, I would be very nervous about going to the post office to pick up a package. Really, at the end of the day, that's kind of the same as having it dropped off at your house, provided you don't have to sign for it. Like if you don't have to sign for it, who cares? Doesn't really matter, you know? But I just wouldn't like going to the post office and knowing that I could be on camera every time. It wouldn't sit well with me. I would much rather, you know, say like say me and you know each other. I'd rather pay you. And like, I know I have 10 pounds of weed coming in. I'm gonna say, hey, listen, man, like, I will kick you a half ounce of weed. You know, I get this package coming in, you know what I mean? And like, I might tell you what it is. I mean, if I trust you, you know, that might happen, you know, especially like, cause then it's a double-edged sword. Cause then I can go and I can trust you with that information, have it sent to you. And then when I get it, either just have you sell it, you know, and like, you know, if I'm paying $50 an ounce and people are like, that's crazy. Like the best deal I got on the dark net was $30 an ounce. So like if I'm paying $50 an ounce because I'm buying it in bulk, I might just turn around and say, hey, listen, I'll send you a package and, you know, I'll charge you $100 an ounce for what's inside of it, you know, for the cannabis that's inside of it. And 9 times out of 10, people are more than happy with that because it's blowing away the competition in that area. You know, they know they can, especially if it's legal in your area, you know, and especially if you understand about controlled deliveries, and love letters, you know, you have that risk mitigation, built into it. So, you know, at the end of the day, like I wouldn't advise this for anyone. But like I personally would send coke to myself. I would send, you know, acid, X, like all this stuff, to my home address. And again, like I wasn't raided because of my bad OPSEC. I was raided because of the complacency of my cousin, you know, which essentially broke down to, you know, I was raided because I did not supervise her properly. I could say it's her fault because she got lazy, but at the end of the day, it's my fault because I didn't properly supervise her. And I put her in a situation where, you know, the feds were, you know, talking to her, trying to get her to rat, and she did, you know. Had I supervised her properly, she would have went to the post offices I told her to go to, and none of that would have ever happened. And then, you know, in turn, the growth of a darknet business is exponential if you do it right. So, like, had another year went by, you know, it's like if you are at a point in a darknet business where you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, more than likely, you know, in a few weeks' time, depending on how your business is and how it's structured and all of that, you're probably going to be making $1 million, right? And then it's not going to be long until you're making multi-million dollars. And that's just as long as you can avoid all the little bottlenecks that you meet running this business, you'll be good, you know. But you know, those are some of them, you know. But it was a good question. Thank you very much. Nothing here. And I hope you know, you got the answer. If I didn't completely answer it, definitely let me know in the comments. I read those and I respond to them. Also hit the like button if you haven't already, to let other people know about this content and that it exists. And I'll see you guys in the next video.